I'm feeling mighty Americanized right about now. I have to put my American hat on today because dang on it, feeling mighty patriotic. A lot of mess going on around this country that we need to talk about. Now, it is a Friday night, so we might as well have a little fun going over some of the current nonsense that's been going on around the country. And I mean a whole heap of it, y'all. We're being overwhelmed. The dam of nonsense is broken. It's overflowing. Flee. Everybody flee for your lives. So if this is your first time joining my show, please hit the like button, share my videos, follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those good joints. Check out my podcast. Feel free to participate in the super chat if you'd like. Donations to the channel can also go to Cash App, PayPal, all this below. And follow me on Twitter and subscribe to my alternative channel. All those things help me operate, help me keep the show going, help us spread the message. Now, last night we had us a rootin' tootin' good time talking about the governmental interference in our elections and all of these crazy radical groups that's running around the country that's trying to pretend like they're fighting for justice and stuff while really it's organized, and also they're in cahoots with certain leaders, certain party members, if you know what I mean. We exposed all that. I'm here to expose stuff, man. I'm trying to pull blankets back. That's all I'm trying. I'm trying to just pull some blankets back. So we pulled some blankets back last night about that. And we're going to further do that tonight while having some fun at Joe Biden's expense and all the Democrats, because they're usually the leading cast in the show. See, that's right. And a whole cast of monkey shine, they have the lead role. They have the lead role. So we're going to be exposing that tonight. But before we do that, you know me, man, I got to get loose. So buckle up. There's going to be a bumpy one tonight, y'all. Like a what? Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Throw your fist up to show some respect. Gorillas in here, gorilla in here. Now, guys, also, I want you to please, if you have not subscribed, what the? I know I just put a phone number in there. That's crazy. I just put a phone number in that little text thing right there and it didn't even show up. I'm mad about it. Well, anyway, Don, if you're online, I don't know what just happened and I'm not going to worry about it. But those that have subscribed to my text subscription to where I can send you guys notifications periodically about when I release something new. If you haven't done that, please do so. I'm sure somebody will put the number in the chat tonight before we get out of here. I don't know what just happened. You know what? I should have double checked it. I should have double checked it, man, before I hit the go button. But it is what it is. Y'all love me enough to forgive me. But yeah, please do that. Now, guys, let's start off tonight's show. Well, you know what? I took the American hat off a little too soon. Let's hear from a real patriot to make me feel mighty American, y'all. Man who's been through some things. You know who I'm talking about. The real president of the United States.
Open to the Russia collusion hoax.
President Trump has just been impeached on both Article 1.
The only president of the United States to be impeached for a second
January
time.
6th committee releasing its final 845-page report.
Former President Donald Trump has been indicted.
Remember this. Nothing worth doing ever came easy. Following your convictions
Grown man.
means you must be willing to face criticism from those who lack the same courage to do what is right.
You talking about
Relish
them?
the opportunity to be an outsider. Embrace that label. Being an outsider is fine. Embrace the label. Because it's the outsiders who change the world.
Yep.
And who make a real and lasting difference.
Amen.
The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead.
This is a party that wants an outsider badly. I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
You
Boom.
must keep pushing forward.
Look at that.
Ever.
Look, y'all. He didn't even fall going up them steps. No trips whatsoever. Dang on it. All the way up there to the top.
Give up. There'll be times in your life you'll want to quit. You'll want to go home. I can't do it. I can't do it. Just never.
Never quit.
You will build a future where we have the courage to chase our dreams no matter what the cynics and the doubters have to say. You will have the confidence to speak the hopes in your hearts and to express the love that stirs your soul.
Talking good.
And you will have the faith to replace a broken establishment with a government that serves and protects the people.
Love it.
They're not coming after me, they're coming after you. I'm just standing in their way. And I always will stand in their way.
Look at that. Now that's an ad, yo. Oh yeah, make me feel all funny on the inside watching that, yo. Make me feel real Americanized. Real Americanized, y'all. It gives me hope. It gives me inspiration. Because yes, in that ad, he made some good points. First of all, you never, ever, ever quit. You don't give up. You fight to the end, man. You throw a punch out there, even if you're on the way out. If you got punched and you're falling, just throw it out there. Who knows? You might knock somebody out. It reminds me of when I got into a basketball game with this young boy who was in college. Now, at the time, first of all, at the time I played this young man, I was probably about 35, somewhere around there. Totally out of my basketball prime, which I never had a basketball prime because I suck at basketball. I'm ambidextrous. I can play every sport except for the stereotypical black sport, basketball. People be shocked, man. I be standing on the playground when I was young. Come on over and play, man. And get over there like, dude, this dude can't play basketball. He's black. I don't know what to do with that. All black people are supposed to be able to do it. Can't play basketball. I can play tennis, volleyball, ice skate. Stuff that a lot of white people do. Get out there on the ice skates. Give me a hockey stick. Sweet. However, basketball, I suck. But I'm not one to walk away from a challenge. So when the young boy challenged me to a game, I had to get in there. I had to get in there and find a way to get it done. This dude, we were going to 10. He was beating me 9-1. 9-1. And he looked at me. He's like, yeah, I got you. I got the ball back somehow. And I looked him in the eyes and I never forget. I said, you know, I'm going to beat you, right? He said, man, whatever, dude. Man, I'm winning 9-1. I said, okay, but I'm going to beat you. And guess what, y'all? I really believed it. It wasn't one of those things where I'm trying to just psych him out. In my head, I was really going to beat him. It was like the honey badger. See, when you look at the honey badger, that little thing right there will rush in and attack about 2 or 3 lions. And the lions don't even know how to respond to it because they're thinking, this little thing shouldn't be coming at us like this. He must have an ulterior plan or something. I don't know. And they're so shocked, they run away. It's the confidence of that little teeny honey badger that scares those majestic lions. And I looked at that dude with all confidence and said, I'm going to beat you. I came back to where it was 9-9. 9-9. And I got the ball back and I knew he was broken because he wanted me to give up. Wouldn't do it. And looked him in the eye and said, check up. He said, okay, wait. How about we call it a tie? I said, what's that? What's that? There's no such thing as ties. I'm taking you to the well. And sure enough, Kareem Sky hooked him and won the game. 9-10. Won the game. Dude couldn't believe it, man. He's like, how in the world did you come back from 9-1? Well, because I never quit. Never gave up. I always just thought in my head, I'm going to win this somehow. We're going to pull it out somehow. That is how we need to approach what's going on in our country. And same thing with President Trump. I mean, you know, we have some small adversities in our life, if you think about it, compared to this. I don't know about you, but have you ever had the whole FBI, CIA, whole news, all of them after you, whole Democratic Party after you? Have you ever had that? Have you ever had Prosecutor? If you ever want an excuse to tap out and quit, he has one. Have them mess with your money, drag you into court day after day, month after month, indictment after indictment, accusation after accusation. Even us who are regular citizens, somebody might spread a rumor about you just locally. See, locally. But then you get the whole news saying you're a racist, white nationalist, xenophobe, homophobe. These are big rumors. These aren't rumors confined to your neighborhood. These are the type of attacks that anybody without character and without steel in their back would tap. No still in the back, you tap. And so I got to give credit to Trump that man right there got steel all up and down his spine. So kudos to him. Make me feel all Americanized. And then we get to this guy. Listen to this. Like, you ever want to see somebody try to lie with a straight face without laughing? Listen to this.
Question about Israel, because the president met with the president of Israel yesterday in the Oval Office. This moment got a bit of attention, and it's not the only one that is kind of like this that we sometimes see, and I just want to play it for you.
Yeah, please.
And we brought Israelis and Palestinians together at a political level and Akko and as well as Sharon.
Okay. Any ideas, y'all? What is this? What is this? I mean, I don't know if he's sleeping. I don't know what the heck is going on right here with this guy. First of all, did you see the notes in his lap that he can't even read? And he's trying to act like he's meditating or something real deep. But what he's really doing is looking down at his notes. When I was in middle and sometimes in high school, I would cheat sometimes on a test where I would take a little cheat sheet and write, some of the answers down and stick them right between my lap. And the teacher wonder why I'm sitting there the whole time, looking down in my lap. And I want them to think I'm just thinking. I'm thinking. But I'm really straining to read those little teeny words on that cheat sheet. That's what this guy's doing as a grown man, as the so-called president, sitting here looking down in his lap, reading off of a cheat sheet and can't do that. I mean, so he looks like he's in between falling asleep while he's reading the sheet. So you're reading the cheat sheet and falling asleep. Unbelievable. So let's see how this all works out, because I don't understand what Mumble McKenzie is saying.
And as I affirmed to Prime Minister Netanyahu yesterday, America's commitment to Israel is firm.
John, this got a lot of attention. It got picked up in a lot of places. Why is it so hard to understand what the president is trying to say there?
I think he was very, very clear, Martha.
You didn't think...
What? Democrats, I tell you, man, they are willing to prostitute themselves to no avail. Wait a minute, man. So let me understand. This guy just sitting here watching the clip with her. Okay. And I know in his head he's thinking, this looks absolutely horrific. Now I got to allow all my friends and family back home who's watching this, and all are going, yeah, the guy he represents is crazy. That guy he's representing is blew out all 4 tires. We don't know what he's talking about. Now I got to watch my friend, my son, my dad, whoever, sit back, look in the camera, knowing that Joe Biden is blew out, and say, I think he was very clear. That's on a whole nother level of prostitution, because what you're really doing is saying that I'm dumb. Yeah, I'm dumb, because everybody in the world watching that clip is going, I don't know what the heck Joe Biden just said, what he's talking about. And now I got to be the one to say I'm dumb, because I've listened to that and sound pretty clear. See, this is where you make them appear to be dumb. They gotta do it themselves. It's like, you know what? I can't say that he's messed up and he's confused and he's probably demented. I can't say that. The alternative is me to lie to everybody, and then they're going to either say he's lying or his judgment is compromised. You cannot listen to that statement, that mumbling that Joe Biden just laid out there, and conclude that I think it was very clear. That means you speak Jobaden. That's what that means. That means for some reason you're able to interpret mumbles. So let's see. Let's hear it again, because maybe we missed it. Maybe we missed it, y'all.
Think there was any problem to communicate there? You didn't have any difficulty understanding what he was trying to say?
The president was very clear in that clip.
So I would have asked him, well, what did he say? That's what I would have did. You just said the president was very clear in that clip. I'd have been like, so then what did he say? He said that Israel, that's what he said, Martha. That's what he said. So let's hear it again. Maybe we missed some pieces.
Yeah, and Akko and as I
the president was very...
Wow. I know the dude from Israel sitting next to him like, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't pan over and he's just, Like, what the heck is going on in the U.S.? Hold on. Okay, so wait. All right, it's precious. This is precious. Man, the dude is falling asleep during the cheat sheet. Okay, so wait. I caught certain words, little words that popped out.
Be clear in that clip.
In that clip.
And I'll go ahead and roll strong. And as I
Oh man, oh boy! If he didn't represent the whole country, it would be even funnier. So he starts off with some grumps and mumble, so he's growling. All right, I got that part. So the first part is some growls. All right, well, let me see.
The president was very
Then the second part was some snacks, some smacks. Okay, so we got some growls. So that's the first part of the language. Okay, let's see.
very clear in that clip.
like Vera Wang and Joan Shangang. I'm going to pronounce right. Shanga
Look how clear he is.
Kawawa.
Wawa.
Why is it so hard to understand what the president is trying to
I think
say
he's
there?
very clear.
I think he was very, very clear, Martha.
And here comes the train that he tried to make sure didn't continue to run.
Rough run.
No, that's the commuter. All right.
Y'all hear that Scooby-Doo moment? Rough run. Raggy. Yep. And here comes the train, Raggy. Rough run.
Oh, that's what. But folks, look.
Oh, man. I bet you John Kirby got off that set like, oh, man. Out of all the administrations I could have joined, I'm babysitting in line for a guy who's obviously compromised mentally. Now I got to sit back and act like I was dead serious when I looked into the camera and said, I think he was very clear, Mark. Boy, I would love to see the transcript written out for that one. Israel, Netanyahu. That was a part of it too. Yeah, all kind of stuff was going on under his breath. Now, let's find out more about what's really going on with that sleeping, demented, horrific imposter in the White House that should be removed or should have never even been installed.
Now calling to impeach President Biden after the release of a damning FBI document detailing his alleged involvement in a multi-million-dollar international bribery scheme.
Brooke Singman is here to break it all down.
Break that
Brooke,
mess down.
Hey, good morning, Carly Todd. Now, that stunning FBI informant file is detailing the Biden's alleged coercion of Burisma's CEO.
Wow. That escalated quickly. Actually, it didn't escalate quick enough. We all been knowing this dude was corrupt for a while. Now, guys, if the Republicans do what they're supposed to do and impeach him, impeachment party at my house. Everybody, we're having an impeachment party, y'all. Impeachment. Impeachment party. So let's find out why they're picking on Creepy Sleepy.
In exchange for their help in getting the Ukrainian prosecutor investigating the company fired. Now, the CEO says, quote, it cost $5 million to pay one Biden and $5 million to another Biden. The document also claims the Burisma executive, quote, didn't want to pay the Bidens and he was pushed to pay them.
So it sounded like he wasn't trying to bribe the Bidens. The Bidens were trying to bribe him. Wow, they were blackmailing this dude. They were strong-arming this dude. This dude, now you know it's bad when the Ukrainians are saying this is too corrupt for us. This is very corrupt. Getting shook down by Biden. Don't want to pay, but we must. That's real bad when them dudes over there saying, we don't even want to participate in this criminal act, but we're getting strong-armed by Creepy and the crackhead.
He has many text messages and recordings that show he was coerced to make payments. And the redacted document also alleges the executive claimed that Hunter Biden was, quote, stupid. My dog was smarter.
What? Now, you know what's crazy about this, y'all? Trump released his audio tape talking to Zelensky, and I'm listening to that, and I'm going, I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the problem is. Not to mention, Zelensky said he didn't see what the problem was. But this guy says he has text messages and audio tapes and all of that stuff as an insurance policy because he saw there was a problem in that conversation. And Trump got impeached for it. Not to mention, in this interchange, this interaction, he said that Hunter was dumber than his dog. Come here. Come here, boy. I brought a special guest, y'all. Come here. Yeah. Yeah. Here's somebody, y'all, who y'all all know and love. He just got himself a nice fancy haircut. Are you smarter than crackhead? Are you smarter than the crackhead? Maybe Gizmo should sit on the board. That's what I was thinking. You wanna sit on the board of Burisma? Make some money? Yeah, you're smarter than that crackhead, aren't you, Gizmo? Aren't you smarter than that crackhead? Yes, you are. Love this dog. I don't think I could love a human baby more than that dog. Dang on it. But yet, they had dang on Hunter Biden over there and said he was dumber than his dog. Wow. But Joe said he's the smartest person I know.
Burisma hired Hunter to protect us through his dad from all kinds of problems. Now, you may remember President Biden shot down allegations that Burisma was being investigated in the first place right before the 2020 election. Listen.
There was no investigation going on in Burisma. And that prosecutor we fired should have been fired.
Should have been fired. So let me get this straight, y'all, because the truth always comes out. Here's Creepy, back when he was running, on a very friendly channel, who's giving him a chance to just throw out the most stupid statement, and they just said, thank you for clearing that up. No pushback on that. So there was no prosecution. I mean, there was no investigation. She just sat there and shook her head like, oh, thanks for telling us that. Thanks for clearing that up. And thank you for just telling us that that prosecutor was corrupt. No evidence? You're not going to support that? Just tell me that and I'll go, okay. You won't say, how? What do you mean corrupt? Tell us what he did. Why is he getting fired again? So here he goes. We're going to figure out, because the conversation from the president at the time from Ukraine, I had a little phone call with Joe after Joe threatened him and made him fire that prosecutor.
Period.
Period.
I meet with the general prosecutor shortly.
Okay.
And despite of the fact that we didn't have any corruption charges, we don't have any information about he doing something wrong.
Now listen to the words that this guy was using. He used these words specifically to show that Joe Biden is forcing him to fire an innocent man. Yes, let me see. In spite of the fact that he didn't do anything corrupt, no corrupt charges. We don't have any information about him doing something wrong. But we just heard Creepy Sleepy on MSNBC say, the fact of the matter is that prosecutor was corrupt. Period. Well, why is the president saying, I fired him for nothing? I fired him not because he was corrupt, not because we found all kind of, laws that he broke or something. I fired him for you, Joe. And I'm going to make it clear in this statement, just in case this falls back on me. And Joe don't even catch the fact that he's using those words to make sure he exonerates himself.
I especially asked him. Day before yesterday. I especially asked him to resign.
To resign.
As his position as a state person. And despite of the fact that he has a support in the power.
Wow.
And 1 hour ago, he bring me the written statement of his resignation.
Does that sound like he was a corrupt prosecutor? I mean, I'm just wondering, because Joe just got on there and said that, first of all, this guy wasn't even investigating Burisma. Yeah. And the MSNBC person just, thank you. And then, right after that, he fired the prosecutor because he was corrupt, period. Now, this man is using every word possible to let everybody know that guy was innocent, in spite of him ever doing anything wrong, in spite of him being squeaky clean, in spite of him being an upstanding moral citizen that has blessed our country with nothing but righteousness. In spite of all of that, I did this for you, Joe. I did it for you. Huh.
Great. This is my second step for keeping my promises.
Second step for keeping my promises. I agree. Thank you. See? Now, you see this whole story unfolding. We all saw it. We all been reading this story forever. Now, I'm hoping that it comes to the right conclusion. Because see, here's Joe right here. Y'all heard the conversation, just in case you've never heard it before. This is the arrogant Joe back in the day when he had about 3 brain cells left. Got the nerve to think that I'm gonna go ahead and boast about getting that prosecutor fired. Because no, I'm not worried about Trump getting in anyway. And the intel community will cover all this mess up if it ever came out. So let me cross my legs and floss like I got some authority here.
No, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him.
See, now this is what a beta male does. He wants to feel like the alpha male, but he's not. Soon as the alpha comes into the room, he will immediately fall back into his rightful position. Like, for example, when Obama came back to visit the White House, immediately, even as the president at the time, he immediately fell right back into the mode of beta male, lost, wandering around, trying to just live vicariously through Obama, going up to him and stuff, which is crazy because Obama is a beta male too. That's the funny part. But nonetheless, this guy right here, because he wants to feel like he got pull and power, this is what got him. His arrogance. He's sitting up there smug and talking about basically saying that I got the same power as Obama. If you don't believe me, go ahead, call him. Shoot. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling the shots. Go ahead. Here's the phone. So he's boasting up here, which really opened him up for all of this damning evidence.
I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money.
Wow.
Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Put in place someone who was solid, which that guy had just gotten out of prison for fraud, then is back in prison for fraud. Meaning put someone in place that's solid for me and Hunter. Just as corrupt as we are. That's what they put in place. Took a real legitimate good person out of the position to protect him and his raggedy behind crackhead son.
Stunning allegations are now drawing calls for President Biden's impeachment. Congressman Jim Banks tweeting, quote, most corrupt family to ever live in the White House, impeach. And Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna writing, quote, based on the evidence and testimony I have seen as a member of oversight, Biden needs to be impeached. He is compromised and his son is selling access to him. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan had this to say.
Jim Jordan?
Remember in 2019, this is what they went after President Trump on. What? It was all about Burisma and the phone call in Ukraine, but they attacked President Trump on the very thing they were involved in. So typical of the Democrats, it seems to me.
Yep, that's called projection. So let me get this straight. They impeached a patriotic, upstanding, law-abiding president to cover up for this raggedy behind, corrupt, old, washed-up politician and his crackhead son. That's what they always do. They project. You guys are racist, but yet they're the most racist folks on the left ever. It's crazy, man. You guys are corrupt. You guys are violent. Everything they throw out there, they're guilty of. So they went after Trump over this. And remember, the media participated the whole time. He's saying it was not a perfect call. No, it wasn't. And this and that. He has no evidence whatsoever that Biden and his son was involved in anything like. They did everything they can to justify that impeachment and misplace the blame, talking about, oh, well, he's not doing it just because he's looking out for the corruption. No, he's doing it because he is trying to beat Creepy Sleepy in the election. And now they should all have one big omelet on their face, but they don't, because they have no morals. They have no conscience. They just move on to the next line.
The White House is adamantly denying these claims, saying, quote, it is remarkable that congressional Republicans and their eagerness to go after President Biden, regardless of the truth, continue to push claims that have been debunked for years.
Debunked? Debunked? By who? That's my question. That statement right there is arrogant in itself. What she, or whoever wrote this, what they're saying is, in spite of everything that we've just discovered and all have known, is the laptop debunked? I mean, y'all tried to debunk it. Y'all tried to lie about that. Come to find out, that's real. How about all those bank statements? Or what about the audio tape that we just listened to? What are you talking about? How about Biden sitting up there with his legs crossed talking about, son of a gun, they fired that prosecutor? Is that debunked? What about this? This is crazy. I want to see that darn. I want to hear those audio tapes that they haven't released yet. That's what I want to do. Debunk that. But here she is. Well, just debunked. By who? Everybody. And I'm just telling you, it's debunked. Don't look into it though.
Get access for the president.
Watch this.
You're selling access to the president.
Oh man. Now, does this sound like an innocent guy? Or is he insecure much? When people was asking him about Creepy and the crackhead's dealings over in Ukraine, watch how the crackhead Creepy overreacts, y'all. See, this looks like an innocent man, right?
Just like he is. So
You're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that.
Oh, look like he's going to fight.
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV. No,
I ain't never seen this much energy out of Creepy.
I'm not sedentary. I get up and Look, the reason I'm running is because I've been around a long time and I know more than most people know. And I can get things done. That's how I'm running. And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together, man.
How do we get to push-ups? How do we get to push-ups? See, what this is an overcompensation to try to prove that you're innocent. So that man says, hey, man, you're just as bad as Trump because, now this guy's not a Trump supporter. This is when a man asked him about his son getting that job over there in Ukraine. And he wondered, how do you get it? How's your son over there making $83,000 a month for nothing? So Joe's response is to go from, you're a dang liar. Not to mention, I'm going to walk up on you like I'm about to throw a punch. Invade your space. Then after he gets in the man's space, however, he ends up challenging him to some push-ups. Yeah, that right there solves and proves that I'm innocent right there. Push-up contest, y'all. Forget all of the facts. Forget your common sense, your curiosity about, how is your son making that much money over there in Ukraine for nothing? Forget that mess. We're going to solve this through some push-ups.
That's wrong. Let's do whatever you want to do. My son has done anything wrong, and I did not on any occasion. And no one has ever said it. Nobody
ever said it. My son did nothing wrong. Nothing. Neither did I on any occasion. So you're just saying you didn't do it. How many criminals, when you ask them, did they do something, say absolutely? I mean, if that man goes into court and they ask him, did you do this? He will, nothing. I didn't do nothing wrong. So here he is talking about, we didn't do nothing wrong. Now you're telling me the jury, that would be your argument? You're in court. Sir, we got all of this stuff. We have you on a phone call. We have you on videotape talking about you just fired the prosecutor. We have all these bank records. We have text messages from your son to the Chinese. We got all of this and that. How would you like to plead? Not guilty. Okay, well, why aren't you guilty? Because I didn't do nothing wrong. Wow, he said he didn't do anything wrong. Where do we go from there? Man, I don't know what to do with this one. He said he didn't do it. Okay, well, I guess we have to take his word for it. Darn it. All right, we find the defendant not guilty because he said he didn't do it. That's how you defend yourself. That's great right there, Joe. Didn't do nothing.
You don't need to be wrong. You said I set up my son to work in an oil company. You know what you said? I let your word straight, Jack. That's what I hear on MSNBC.
Walking up on him again.
We did not hear that on MSNBC. We did not hear that at all. Look, okay, I'm not going to get an argument with you, man.
Well, I don't want to either.
Well, yeah, you do, but look, fat.
Look, fat.
Mr.
Vice. Joe gets so defensive when he's wrong. See, that's the guilt immediately. Yeah, that's when you walk into a classroom and say, hey, man, what are you doing? Man, I ain't even do nothing. Kids, overreaction. I ain't do nothing, man. You like, I didn't say you did. I just want to know, what are you doing? Okay, well, I wasn't even doing nothing. Well, why are you so angry? Why are you so defensive? Here it is again, y'all. Here's the innocent man, and watch him explain away these accusations.
President, how many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
If not more.
In the list that you gave me of the reasons why you're on that board, you did not list the fact that you were the son of the vice president.
Yeah. No.
What role do you think that
See the
played?
crackhead?
I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the Vice President of the United States.
You were paid $50,000 a month
More than that.
for your position?
Look, I'm a private citizen. One thing that I don't have to do is sit here and open my kimono as it relates to how much money I make or did or didn't. But it's all been reported.
If your last name wasn't Biden, do you think you would have been asked to be on the board of Burisma?
If your last name wasn't Biden, do you think you would have been asked to be on the board of Burisma?
I don't know. Probably not. I don't think that there's a lot of things that would have happened in my life that if my last name wasn't Biden.
I've never spoken to my son about that.
And so how do you know?
Here's what I know.
Y'all see that response right there? So now you saw the crackhead basically say, yeah, man, it's my name. Now, even if Biden had never spoke to his son, which we all know he did, but the fact that this man is a Biden, he ends up on the board of a corrupt energy company in Ukraine that happened to also be a country that Joe Biden is dealing with. And he goes over there with Joe Biden on Air Force Two and lands that job. You're telling me that dang on Creepy doesn't question his son on that? When he figures out, son, where were you at? What were you doing while I was in meetings or whatever? Oh, I was making business deals. Oh, really? How'd that go? Well, they're going to put me on the board of Burisma. Burisma? Wait a minute. That's a corrupt energy company. Son, I can't have you do that. That's what should have happened. But no, you telling me he got on that plane to come back with that deal and Joe Biden was like, don't want to hear nothing. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever you did, you just did it. Unbelievable that this dude is still trying to lie about this. Now, hear how he reacts to Peter Doocy. He just said, I didn't do nothing.
I know Trump deserves to be investigated.
Wait a minute, how did Trump come
He
into
is
this?
violating every basic norm of a president. You should be asking him the question. Why is he on the phone with a foreign leader?
Why is he on the phone with a foreign leader? Reprojection. Put your corruption through the test. Reprojection. He said, well, I never spoke to my son. You know what you should be asking is why Trump and his corruption was on the phone with that. Now, we just heard him on the phone with the president of Ukraine. Did that sound like a perfect phone call? See, I heard Trump's, but I just heard Creepy's. So now I want to know why you were on the phone talking about great after he said, I fired that prosecutor for nothing except for you requesting it. And you respond, great. You didn't say, wow, you telling me he ain't do nothing? Man, I'm sorry. My bad, man. Leave that man alone. Don't ruin his life. Don't destroy his credibility. Leave that man alone with his family. You didn't do that, Joe, after the president was telling you on the phone that that man is innocent. And your conclusion was great. In spite of all of that, I did it to fulfill my promise to you, Joe. I gave you every opportunity to say, nah, you don't have to do that. After the whole conversation leading up to me saying I fired him was you saying the guy's innocent. And Joe's conclusion, great. Is that what you're about, Joe? You're about getting innocent people fired? So now here he is projection. Just straight up saying, dude, you need to be looking at Trump. Don't look at me. It's over there. Somebody go somewhere over there. Leave me be.
Trying to intimidate a foreign leader. If that's
Trying
what
to
happened,
intimidate a foreign leader.
You should be looking at Trump. Trump's doing this because he knows I'll beat him like a drum.
Unbelievable.
And he's using the abuse of power and every element of the presidency to try to do something to smear me.
Every single thing that this man just said in that short phrase is he's guilty of every one of them. He's abusing his power. He's intimidating a foreign leader. Unlike you, sitting there with your legs crossed talking about, I told him to fire that prosecutor. That's not intimidation? Or you ain't getting $1 billion? How about the people from Burisma that didn't even want to pay you and your crackhead son? Is that intimidating a leader? But they don't look at me. Look at Trump. Look at Trump. Do you know that Don Jr. is over there doing that? Is Don Jr. on the board of a corrupt energy company board? I don't know. Last I checked.
Everybody looked at this, and everybody's looked at it and said there's nothing there.
Who's everybody?
Ask the right question.
Ask the right questions. You know what? Guilty much? Yep, that's the behavior of an innocent man right there. His whole argument was, don't look at me. Look at Trump. He's guilty. You got to ask the right questions to him, not me.
The CEO even said he, quote, hired Hunter Biden to protect us through his dad from all kinds of problems.
What, Jesse? I just heard Creepy Sleepy back in the day, right there as we all watched it. He was telling her, I never spoke to my son about that. I just saw Creepy Sleepy almost get into a fist fight while he was out so-called campaigning against one of his own voters, I guess. Had the nerve to go up to him and start wagging his finger in his face and calling facts and challenging the push-ups because they questioned whether he helped get his son on that board. But now we find out he did.
The Ukrainians knew exactly what they were doing. They were paying for protection like the mob does, and they got their money's worth. When somebody raised an issue that the local prosecutor was looking into the company, the Burisma CEO said this, quote, "Don't worry, Hunter will take care of all of those issues through his dad."
Now, here's the crazy part about this, guys. All of the investigations and accusations against Trump, do you understand the gymnastics that these folks went through? They needed the use of the media, all the social media platforms and the news. They needed all of these resources to convince a certain degree of our population that Trump did all kind of stuff, that he's guilty. And to this day, many of the people out there that fell for all that propaganda believed it. They would leave phrases out of his statements. They would try to edit it. You had Adam Schiff come out and just totally reconstruct the whole conversation on the phone with Zelensky. All of these things they had to do, and it still fell short because they never had legitimate evidence up front. They had to invent all kind of stuff. Whereas now, we have concrete evidence. Now, watch these corrupt, foul folks, as all of this come out, still stand behind the creepy and the crackhead. They're going to stand behind him. They are going to act as if all of this very obvious, damning evidence does not show that him and his son is guilty. They're going to, basically, the Democrats are never going to tap out. They're never going to just simply say, yeah, that looks bad, man. It's beyond repair. We can no longer continue to lie and say, Joe didn't do nothing. This is just a witch hunt. They're just attacking him. No, a witch hunt is what they did to Trump. This right here is following the facts and the evidence. And they're going to get out there and defend him and say, nope, he ain't do nothing in spite of all of this right here. That shows how corrupt they are. They know this man is compromised, but to them, it's about the party. It's not about the people. So they're going to go down with the ship, like always.
Hunter and Joe were on the take, which each of the Biden boys pocketing $5 million, allegedly, and they were strong-arming the company the whole time. The Ukrainian CEO didn't even want to pay up, saying he was pushed to pay them. Maybe he didn't want to fork over some cash because he knew that, quote, Hunter Biden was stupid and his dog was smarter. And if that's really how Burisma felt about Hunter, it's no wonder this was all Joe's idea. As the document points out, it was Joe who was insisting that Hunter be on the Burisma board. According to allegations,
it was Joe, y'all. So the old man from Iowa needs an apology. I want Creepy to go back to Iowa and find that man who he challenged to push-ups and say, you were right. I was wrong. I just didn't remember I was wrong. Yeah, you knew you was wrong, Joe. You knew that you insisted to put your son, after getting the $5 million, you and him got the $5 million, it got deposited. Then you go ahead and say, now, moving forward, putting my son on the board for my ongoing protection. If you want that, put him on the board for $87,000. He had a crack habit. That'll be his crack change. And use that for crack. So they put his son on that board for $87,000 a month. And yet that guy says, my dog is smarter than him. Hunter could have sent the dog in to sit in those meetings. I can't make it. Just have the dog standing for me. Yes, don't worry, Hunter. Just don't worry. Don't come. We have dogs sit right here. He's smarter. He contributes more than you, Hunter, anyway. So there you have it. His dog is smarter than Hunter.
Allegations contained in an unclassified FBI document released today by Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley. The then Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter allegedly coerced the CEO of a Ukrainian energy company, Burisma, to pay them millions of dollars, about $5 million each, in exchange for their help in getting fired a Ukrainian prosecutor who'd been investigating the company. Now, the form in question is an FBI-generated FD-1023, which Grassley's office says he acquired via legally protected disclosures by DOJ whistleblowers. In the form, Burisma's CEO at the time told a confidential human source that he had, quote, many text messages and recordings that show he was coerced to make such payments to the Bidens. What? Interestingly, the document is dated June 30th of 2020. Of course, that was 5 months before the 2020 election.
Oh, now guys, since this was 5 months before the 2020 election and the FBI had this form, guess what else? That means the FBI knew that this dude and his son was compromised. They were okay with it though. See, because we know Joe Biden is obedient. He's not going to expose the intel community. He's not going to stop our censorship. He's not going to stop us demonizing American citizens and looking into all of their accounts and snooping around and getting FISA warrants opened up on people who didn't do nothing. He's not going to stop that. You know why? Because we got this big old fat document right here showing that he's just as dirty. So instead of us exposing this and stopping a real legitimate compromised president from being installed, well, let's just install him so we can control him. But when they couldn't control Trump, what did they do? They falsified a whole bunch of stuff. He's a Russian agent. All of that mess. Because we need to be able to control him. We need a dirty president in there. So we get a clean president in there, we're going to dirty him up. We get a dirty one, and we're going to try to clean him up. But you can't clean up this amount of dirt on this dirtbag and his son.
Former intelligence chief believes that the memo warrants a criminal investigation of the president of the United States, Joe Biden. I agree with that. But tonight, without evidence, the White House is referring to all of these charges and allegations as debunked. You mean you didn't lie to us when you said you never talked to Hunter's business partners? And the FBI referred to the release of the 1023 form as unnecessary and dangerous. And look,
unnecessary and dangerous. Same FBI who had that form and unnecessarily put a raggedy president in office and sabotage a real one. See, and they're talking about it's dangerous. Dangerous to you creeps, because guess what? You guys are guilty too. You're guilty because you allowed a compromised president to assume the office and knowing that he was compromised. You had the laptop, you had this document, you had all of that. So yes, of course, y'all gonna say it's dangerous, but it's not dangerous to your sources and methods. It's dangerous to the fact that you guys are exposed for covering up for a raggedy, corrupt politician and going after another one. And this is how you know that Trump was innocent when it came down to the whole Russia collusion thing, is because if he really had a scintilla of evidence that Biden has, they would have removed him physically. They would have went in, they would have released that stuff and said, we cannot have a corrupt, evil president in office right here. You see this? All it would have taken is just one bit of evidence to make them think Trump was a real Russian agent. They would have never let him sit in the Oval Office for 4 years. Guess what? Doing damage, I guess. You know, sitting here chuckling it up with Putin while he sells us out. They would have never let that happen. They would have got him out day one. But instead, they drugged that mess out because they knew they had no real legitimate argument or evidence. But then you get this dude. They had all the evidence laid out before he went into the White House. What is that laptop? It could be Russian disinformation. Look here, Twitter. You know, you might be getting a dump and drop. You got to be looking out for that. Let's just give you a perfect example. If you get a laptop that comes in and say maybe it comes in and they say it's Hunter Biden's, you know, that could be the Russians. Then it happens and they ask the FBI, hey, is this the Russian information, disinformation you were talking about? I don't know. I'm just saying. You knew. The FBI knew. That's how foul they are right now. And this is what we're dealing with, y'all, as a country. So y'all heard Trump in the beginning of my show. Man, it takes some steel in the back because we are going up against a serious group of evil people with a lot of power. Let's hear what he got to say about this.
Look, the Democrats kept saying, no, you don't have any evidence. You don't have any evidence. Well, Marjorie showed them evidence. She showed them evidence of the president's son committing a crime, violating the Mann Act. She showed the plane tickets. She showed the pictures. She showed the evidence. You know, there's no question he violated it. That's another thing that he could have been charged with. You know, at the end of the day, when we wrap this report up, Hunter Biden's going to have between 6 and 10 criminal referrals.
And you got to get rid of garlic because those referrals will fall on deaf ears. You already know. If that guy right now is over the darn DOJ, none of this is going anywhere. Same thing with Christopher Wray. You can refer until you blue in the face. At this point, pull the trigger with impeachment. I heard somebody suggest a special counsel. No, 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 no. Stop being stupid. Kash Patel was like, don't do that. How naive are you people? The guy who would appoint the special counsel is the same guy who appointed the special counsel to look into Donald Trump right now for stupid stuff. You cannot have corrupt people policing themselves. This is impeachment time. Jump over special counsel. Jump over all of the other crap. How much more evidence do you need to launch the impeachment? Unreal.
And the fact that he got a sweetheart plea deal over, a misdemeanor that should have been a felony according to the Irish whistleblowers. I mean, these guys were the ones that were leading this investigation.
That is the media. Let's just call it out. Mainstream media is just complicit in all of this.
What? No, wait. You telling me, Maria, that the mainstream media was... oh, wait. They were. Because that was the same group of people who were willing to support Russia collusion. They were the ones that saying Trump right there was colluding with Ukraine, trying to muscle him. They were gleeful over all the stupid impeachments. These were the same people who were celebrating these reckless indictments that's just being thrown out. They were complicit. And if you ever wondered whether they were complicit, all of these fake investigations and attack on Trump, they all collapsed where they spent all this time supporting with no evidence. Now they have a beautiful story to tell. All this evidence comes in. I'm sure, Maria, with this latest bombshell, they're going to be going crazy over this. Breaking news, right?
ABC News completely ignoring this explosive whistleblower hearing. According to Grabian transcripts on Wednesday's World News Tonight and on Good Morning America, both ignoring the hearing altogether. No time whatsoever. In fact, the Media Research Center reporting that over the course of nearly 40 days, ABC, CBS, NBC News spent 527 minutes covering the Trump indictment and 0 seconds on the Biden bribery allegations.
And that's how you know he's guilty. Whenever the fake news tried to divert you away from this crap right here, you know he's guilty. Whenever they try to just go ahead and say, we're not even going to cover it because this right here is so obvious and so damning. If we even pretend to cover it lightly, we might just cause some of the folks that watch our networks to go, wow, I didn't know Biden was that corrupt. So let's just act like it never happened. This is so big. This would be like the president dying and they don't even say nothing about it. Zero coverage. There you go. People are like, wait a minute, aren't y'all a news network? No, we're a propaganda network. Because if you don't cover something this impactful, do you understand the level of these accusations? You got whistleblowers. You got documents of these people over in Ukraine saying that this man and his son did this. But because y'all spent 4 years plus lying about Trump and covering up for Biden, you can't come out and report this because guess what? You're guilty too. It's the same thing with the FBI. They can't do nothing. They're guilty. Same thing with the media. Nobody can support really going after him because they all helped to put this dude in office. All of them.
Allegations.
Republican hearings.
Oh, now we move to some more corruption, guys. So we're going to see what happens to Creepy and the Crackhead. Somehow, I'm sure that, the powers that be are going to work hard to get this dude off the hook somehow, which at this point, I don't see how they can do it, but we've seen them do some stuff, man. But, they'll just let you look right in the camera and see all of the corruption and just say it didn't happen. Like we just saw. White House release a statement. It's been debunked. Like Joe Biden. Didn't do nothing. That's it. That's the extent of the questioning. Well, did you do it? No, didn't do nothing. Thank you for clearing that up, Mr. Biden. So we got to keep our eyes open. We'll see what the Republicans do. But we know what the Democrats are going to do because we're about to watch these folks commit some obvious hypocrisy and lots of lying, lots of gaslighting, lots of censoring. Here we are with this sorry behind leader of the Democrat Party who is unsure of himself, stuttering, nervous, trying to figure out how can I lie to the people and make this make sense. This is the same puppet that's now been installed that had the nerve to say ultra-Republican, MAGA Republicans don't want your kids learning about the LGBTQ experience. You're right. So let's hear what this puppet got to say about the censorship hearings and RFK, one of their own guys, one of their own.
That have unfolded over the last few days and throughout this entire Congress are a malignant clown show that are not designed to address issues that impact the health, the safety, and the economic well-being of the...
See, now when you're lying, you got to take breaks. See, you can't flow when it's a lie. You got to sit there like, okay, let me be very strategic. What else can I say to divert them away from the truth? So now what he's doing is describing every investigation, every hearing that the Democrats ever had. Full clown show. Coming in with the bucket of chicken, coming in there, grandstanding, AOC, crying, doing all kind of stuff. So now this guy is breaking between everything he says because he's trying to formulate a lie and project it all on the Republicans. That's what he's doing right there.
The American people, but instead peddle outlandish and out of control conspiracy theories.
It's great. It's great. It's great. And the funny part is I wonder if they believe their own garbage. I wonder if they see their own hypocrisy. Peddle conspiracy theories. All we got to do is just go back through every single conspiracy theory that they threw out about Trump. You can find montages of them. And then it comes out to be wrong. And they just act like, I didn't say that. I don't know what you're talking about. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're peddling conspiracy theories.
The notion that Republicans would give a congressional platform to Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
wow,
who peddles anti-Semitic tropes and baseless, xenophobic conspiracy theories.
These people are dirt bags. You know what? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend dirt bags. I mean, the dumpster juice. I can't think of anything lower than dumpster juice. Pond scum, maybe. I'm not sure. But do you understand what they're doing to Robert F. Kennedy, who simply, whether you believe with his politics or not, but the guy's sincere, and he's supposed to be a hero in their party. They love his grandfather, his uncle and his dad and all of that stuff. They hoist them up. Yeah, we can contribute them to us. But yet here he comes out and they decide we don't want this dude because he's not into the globalist thing. He's not into our agenda to force vaccinations into society. He's not into all of that. So what we're going to do is not just disagree with him, but we're going to make up some of the worst things we could say about this man. And then in a censorship hearing, try to say that he shouldn't even be able to come there to speak. So now I wonder if this fool realized he's fulfilling the statements and the beliefs of every Republican who's saying Democrats are socialists. They're Marxists. They're communists. They're tyrannical. They want to control speech. They want to control your thinking. They want to control your life. All of that. Because guess what? They're so evil and corrupt. Their policies suck so bad, there's no way they can sell the American people on it and have them willfully surrender control to these incompetent, greedy, gluttonous, globalist Marxists. So we got to do it the other way, shutting them up, demonizing them, using McCarthyism, all of these things. And you come out and you say, this man's anti-Semitic, this man is all of that. And I'm saying, wow. When you do this, honestly, if this was the streets, Robert F. Kennedy, who is swole up, he's jacked, should beat this dude's tail. If this was the streets, let me make my disclaimer. If this was in the hood and someone would come out and make these accusations about someone in the hood, not in politics or civil society, okay, that person would get his teeth knocked all the way out. These aren't accusations you throw out lightly. This man just called him anti-Semitic and all of that.
Which together are directed at the Jewish community and the Chinese American community, is unbelievable.
No, it's unbelievable that your sellout butt is up there lying on this man, just defaming his character, man. It's so obvious. And I'm saying, does anybody really believe RFK is that person? I mean, forget his politics. You really believe that's what is going on? Just like they didn't really believe that Trump was racist and, he's xenophobe. They didn't believe that. This is something that somehow along the way they've adopted in their strategy of disabling or silencing or just defaming anybody who opposes them. If you can't legally silence them, we're going to assassinate your character by full-blown lying. And when you don't have a real press to check that mess, what happens is it sinks into the minds of lesser bubblehead citizens.
Which is why you can't take my Republican colleagues seriously when they tell you that they believe in tolerance. Why would you give Robert F. Kennedy Jr. a congressional platform to spew his hatred?
So there it is. Free speech is hatred. Remember, this is also how they're using this whole concept of, dis and misinformation and all of this. They're using this in a way to censor people without saying we're censoring them. In other words, what they're saying is either dangerous or what they're saying is hateful, even though neither one of those things are the fact. It's because they're truthful. And that truth is dangerous to our agenda. So we're going to say, when you speak the truth, that's dangerous. Not to the society, no. It's dangerous to us. That's what he should be saying. See, I have to translate for this dirtbag. That's what he should be saying. It's dangerous to us. It's hurtful to our agenda. So now, if you could come up with a way to just simply say people who say things that we don't like or disagree or stand in the way of our agenda, we can just start labeling that as dangerous, hateful, violence, all of that stuff. Then we can use that as a predicate to deplatform, to silence, all of those things, to undermine and assassinate the character. And all of that is included in the censorship. So we can say, we're not censoring you. We're just destroying your character and your influence and demonizing you. Yeah, that's also a form of censorship.
Here's the answer. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a living, breathing, false flag operation.
Wow. I mean, it's almost, words are hard to describe how evil that these people are. It really is. Once you see how evil they are, like there's people out there that probably think that brother holding it down. There's people out there that's probably like, man, the Democrats, this man, power to, and I'm saying, if you could just take the blinders off for 1 second and see into this man's evil heart, you probably would die of just fright. Like, I didn't know his heart was that evil and corrupt and black. That man just got up there and said that Robert F. Kennedy is a walking false flag. As this man is simply up here lying about this man's character, his intentions, everything, and trying to censor him while saying, we don't censor.
His whole campaign is being run by right-wing political operatives who have one objective: try to take down President Joe Biden.
No, Joe's taking down himself because he put his crackhead son in charge of his corrupt operation. Joe did that to himself. Don't be talking about trying to take him down. The evidence is taking him down. But nonetheless, that man just got up there and said, Robert F. Kennedy is controlled by right-wing, just throwing stuff out, hoping something stick. So let's get to the hearings and see some pros and cons that came out of it before we bounce tonight, okay? Oh, yeah. Who's up first?
I'd like to raise a point of order.
Oh, here's the
Democrats. Point of order pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 2. Which Mr. Kennedy is violative of. I move that we move into executive session because Mr. Kennedy has repeatedly made despicable anti-Semitic and anti-Asian comments as recently as last week. Rule 11, Clause 2.
See the ugly woman? You see that woman with that wet, curly look? What is up with that? Somebody go get her a hairdresser. She's been rocking that Jerry curl look for a long time right about now. Let that mess go. Do something with it. But nonetheless, here she is. Let's move to an executive session because we don't want to hear this guy here. We're just going to say he's saying bad things and hateful things and this and that, and he means this even though he doesn't mean it. That's what we're going to say. Therefore, we can't listen to it. We can't I don't want to hear it. They don't realize we see what they're trying to do during a censorship meeting as they're lying to us saying we don't censor. We don't censor. We just do it indirectly. We're sneaky with it, trying to say this is hateful speech. So we got to stop this right now.
Says whenever it is asserted by a member of the committee that the evidence or testimony at a hearing may tend to defame, degrade, or incriminate any person, or it is asserted by a witness that the evidence or testimony that the witness would give at a hearing may tend to defame, degrade, or incriminate the witness, and it goes on.
Our lady making a motion or a speech.
I've made a motion to move into executive session because Mr. Kennedy's testimony.
Mr. Chairman, I
and
move
his
to table the
previous
motion.
statements.
Table that mess. Censor her tail. As she's sitting up there doing everything she can to silence RF Kennedy. You know what? How about this? I table that mess. Shut up. We don't need to hear from you anymore. Let's move on. Okay, because all y'all are trying to do is either censor him, don't want him to talk, by let's say he's too dangerous, or let's have a session. And all of that, a recess. Either you're doing that, or what you're doing is saying this guy should not be able to even talk because, of what he's saying. He's a racist. He's a white nationalist. Let's either assassinate his character or stop him from talking up here in front of all these people.
Tucky has moved to table.
Yeah, table that.
Mr. Chairman, I ask for a roll call vote on the motion to table.
Here we go.
Let me ask the question. The question is on the motion to table. The gentlelady has asked for a roll call vote.
But you don't have the right to a platform, public or private. We don't have to give one of the largest platforms of our democracy, Congress, this hearing. Our right does not mean that we as Americans are not free from accountability.
Do you hear this witch? That's the black chick witch that was on C-SPAN lying to her voters that called in and said, we've been hearing all this mess about Hillary Clinton and her laptop being smashed with blackberries and stuff and bleach bit and all. Is that true? No. She didn't do any of those things. That's the same woman. This woman just got up there and said he does not deserve a platform to speak privately or publicly. But here we are in a censorship hearing. Now, if you ever want to know what tyranny looks like, if all of the folks who vote for Democrats, if you want to see what real tyranny looks like, a real banana republic looks like, watch these people. As that woman just sat up there and said that man shouldn't be able to speak publicly or privately on a platform because we don't like what he's saying. That's what it is. And the American people should be shielded from this type of evil speech. It's kind of like what MSNBC and CNN did when Trump came out and spoke after the indictment. We're not going to show this because I'm sure he's up there spewing all kind of hateful things. And it could be dangerous. It could be dangerous. So we have to protect you guys from it. And their audience just took that mess. Thank you for protecting us because we're baby birds who can't feed ourselves. Unbelievable that these people are doing this and they're hoping we don't see it.
And that's what's distressing about this hearing.
That's what's distressing.
Even knowing what they know about Mr. Kennedy's hateful, evidence-free rhetoric, and even though they've invited any number of witnesses to make their point, Speaker McCarthy, Chairman Jordan affirmatively chose to give this a platform. They intentionally chose to elevate this rhetoric to give these harmful, dangerous views a platform in the halls of the United States Congress.
How are they harmful and dangerous views? This is what kills me. Harmful, dangerous views in the United States Congress, all of that. Show me and tell me how they're dangerous and how they're harmful. Don't just say these things, because now we're going to get a chance to hear from RFK and how he feels and what he feels the party that he dedicated his life to is treating him. He's going to tell us how he feels about this. And this is what I don't get. Moderate Democrat politicians, either one of two things is going to happen eventually. Either they're going to spew you out because they can't have you lukewarm. See, the Bible has some meaning to it all across the board. Even the devil, he wants you either hot or cold. If you're lukewarm, he'll spew you out. Same thing with Christ. So now here we have a politician in their party who don't agree with everything. And they're like, we got to spew this man out. At what point do you realize that these people are not on your side? Why are you still affiliated with this party? So either you're going to agree to just be a part of this corrupt cabal of evil Marxists trying to destroy our country, or how about you leave? I won't even mind if you become an independent. Your Joe Manchin, Kilogram, or whatever her name is, this chick, all of them. RFK, if you really see what these people are capable of doing when you disagree with them, that should show you that they don't care about you. It's not about you being a woman or anything. It's not about you even saying you're a Democrat. It comes down to, are you 100% sold out to this evil agenda of ours? If not, we're going to spew you out of our mouth. So I don't even know why he's hanging in there with this party right now.
That's endorsing that speech. That's not just supporting free speech.
You see that? See, so in other words, if you allow people to speak, then somehow that's endorsing hateful speech. I thought that's the whole point of the First Amendment. See, because we sit back and allow you guys to get up there and lie constantly about Trump. We sit back and watch all of your street minions that y'all put out there who gets out there and scream at the top of their lungs and yell, yeah, you know what? This is a fascist country and all of that mess. We tolerate all that. We tolerate them getting out there talking about there's a genocide on transgenders. All of that, even though we say that is the dumbest thing, that's a lie. This is crazy. I disagree with that. But we'll defend these folks to be able to say it. I would never ask for any of them to be deplatformed. Y'all bring in dumb people all the time to Congress that spew up some of the dumbest stuff. Lady up there talking about, look, women can be men and men can be women and this and that. And not once would I ever say, y'all shouldn't even be bringing this crazy dodo bird up here to Congress to even spew out all of this stupidity. You sit back and say, we'll listen to the dumb stuff because freedom of speech. Then we'll use our words and our thinking and our ideas to destroy them. But because these folks can't use that, they use these tactics that you're hearing from this chick right here.
They have co-signed on idiotic, bigoted messaging.
Look at this.
It's a conscious choice. There's no doubt as to why they're making the choice. It's not to guard free speech or to ensure equality for all.
Why is it?
All of this, as you'll hear throughout this hearing,
is what, lady?
Is to show us by their conduct over and over and again
what?
That any attack on Joe Biden to get Donald Trump back in the White House is what they need to do.
If by your leave, I'd like to just respond.
So the censorship of all these people is an effort to get Trump back in. See, now, you ever want to know who the tyrants are? Look what they're defending and look what they're opposing. We're here to talk about the importance of freedom of speech. Everyone should support that. Every American should be like, I don't see what the problem is. We ain't even got to have a hearing about this because we all know what the First Amendment states and we all support it. But for some reason, they are opposed. They are having a problem with this whole hearing. They have a problem with the judge's ruling about what our government been doing concerning freedom of speech. That shows that they're okay with it. That's their tool that they're using, and it's being challenged right now. Because you should be on board with that. Same thing with the movie that just came out, Freedom, Sound of Freedom. What's the problem? Everybody should have been like, darn great, this great movie. Everybody needs to go see it. But for some strange reason, certain left-wing networks and people came out talking about that's QAnon and all of this stuff. And I'm saying, why are you coming out against this? This shouldn't even be a debate. I already know what you guys are up to. So now, instead of them supporting freedom of speech, they're calling this man a white nationalist. He's xenophobic, homophobe, whatever. So here he is.
Briefly to some of the what I would call defamations that have been just applied to me by the ranking member.
By your own party.
To talk to you about my opinions on these issues, what you have stated and tried to associate me with through guilt by association is simply inaccurate. Virtually everything, every statement that you just made about me is
should be applied to you.
I have never advised Black Americans not to receive vaccines.
What?
At one point you say I'm anti-vax, and that's a bad thing. The other moment you point out that all my children are vaxxed.
See, because corruption, they're not smart enough to see how that overlaps. See, they're so busy trying to make up lies and stuff, they don't realize they're contradicting their lies. So the man's anti-vax. But isn't it true that you had all your kids vaccinated? Well, yes. Wouldn't that make me not anti-vax? Well, yeah, you got a point there. But you know what? You're anti-vax for blacks. There it is. Anti-vax for blacks. That's what you are.
I'm fully compliant with the vaccine schedule myself, except for COVID. I took flu.
Wait a minute. Except for COVID, wasn't that the catalyst that all of these folks used to shut down our economy and to put masks on our kids and shove them into the home instead of the classroom? Wasn't that what they all used? Wasn't that what they all used to manipulate our voting process? Wasn't it? Wasn't that a tool for control that the Democrats used? Wasn't that something that they threw on society, but not themselves as they went out partying and kicking it all over the place? Wasn't that what they used? So now for you to be anti against that, what are you doing, RFK? You're not 100% committed to the tyranny. Unbelievable. But yet, here they are, going after one of their own.
Vaccines for 20 years straight. I have never been anti-vax. I have never told the public avoid vaccination. The only thing I've asked for, and my views are constantly misrepresented.
And they do this across the board, guys. Notice what they try to do. Same thing with transgender issues. If you don't want the kids being able to transition under 18, instead of them saying, this is the real problem that people have, these people are anti-trans. You see how that works? Yeah, they don't want to get specific. And the people who was upset about the kids, they're not anti-trans. I don't care about the transgender community. You know, I just don't want them shoving that mess down kids' throats. I don't want them walking into female bathrooms and joining female sports. That's it. If you're a grown human and you want to do that to your body, have at it. I don't hate you. I don't look at you crazy. There's no animosity. There's no, some hate, some fear. None of that. None of that. Soon as you mention kids, you get my attention. See, but they won't tell you that when they send out their propagandists. They throw that stuff out there like it's one big blanketed hatred, which it ain't even hatred. It's just, no, we don't want you messing with the kiddies. Same thing. One thing this man had a problem with, getting vaccinated with a vaccination that just popped up and having it forced and shoved down the throats of society. And yet they just said, instead of focusing on that, we're going to say he's just completely anti-vax. There you go. Because if we get specific, a lot of people might agree. A lot of people out there would be like, now, wait a minute. I disagreed with that too. Am I anti-vax?
So that the truth of what I believe is not, we're not allowed to have a conversation about that with the American people, which I believe vaccines should be tested with the same rigor as other medicines and medications.
Thank you.
You tried to associate me a moment ago
What else?
with the replacement theory, which is racist.
No, I did not say you.
Time
had the
belongs to the
replacement
gentleman
theory.
from-
I said my colleagues.
Time belongs to the gentleman from.
I denounce that theory. It is racist, and I have never endorsed it or had any association with it. Our film on medical, by the way, Bill Buxton,
Get her.
who is the black CDC official who ultimately exposed the Tuskegee experiment, tried for years and years to appeal to CDC to stop it for 40 years. Finally, he got relief by walking into my uncle's office in the building next door.
Right.
And he held hearings and ended the experiment.
So this lady in her party, they don't even care about that. See, remember black folks? I thought they loved black folks. Remember them black folks up in New York didn't want to get, you know what? And they stopped them from going into libraries. They stopped them going into, restaurants and stuff like that. They didn't care whether you was black. They were okay with having folks have this mess shoved down their throats. And yet, years from now, we don't know how this is all going to pop up. They're doing basically what folks did during the Tuskegee experiment. And you know what? Just shove it down their throats. And I'm assuming you guys are doing the right thing. And then when people were trying to say, y'all should not be forcing this on people. Maybe we should be looking into this. Maybe we should be a little cautious. Yeah. Now looking back, they're all going, man, I can't believe they treated black people like that. Well, guess what? 10 years from now, maybe some of these people are going to be like, I can't believe they forced black people to do that because now they all grew a couple extra arms or something. But they don't care about that. It's all about living in the moment and securing their power and control.
I remember that very well. And to say that I created a film that
Here comes the
encourages
censorer.
blacks not to get adequate medical care is just completely abhorrent.
Don't misuse my
It's
words.
the witness's time. Do not censor the witness.
Do not censor the witness. When a liar comes along, you must zip it, Zip it good. Do-do-do-do-do. Zip that lip. Do-do-do-do-do. So I love it. She's getting jumped. They were waiting for her to come out. Soon as she opened her, you shut your mouth, lady. Okay, don't censor the witness. And listen to her response. I wasn't censoring him.
Censoring the witness. I'm not censoring the witness. He's still talking.
It's my time, and I've given it to the witness. Do not censor him.
I'm not censoring him.
If the views that you and others have applied to me, have attributed to me, if they were actually true, I can see why I shouldn't be able to testify here today. Those are not true. These are defamations and malignancies.
They specialize in that,
are
though.
used to censor me, to prevent people from listening to the actual things that I'm saying.
Get 'em,
and
Arf.
I think, ranking member, that we should have a real conversation rather than an exchange of ad hominem attacks.
Democrats don't believe in that.
And answer very quickly to your question. The term malinformation was coined to describe information that Facebook and Twitter and the other social media
Malinformation.
sites.
Y'all hear this new term? They had to add another one, y'all. See, they can't just roll with dis and misinformation, these new made up terms, because that would imply either you're purposely deceiving people or you're ignorantly deceiving people because you don't know the true facts and stuff like that. So we got to come up with a new category, okay? One that we could, cover a whole nother group of people who they're saying the truth. However, we're going to say what they're saying is malicious. It can hurt people. That speech right there might lead to someone getting hurt. So now they came up with a new term,
It's understood was true, but that the White House and other federal agencies wanted censored anyway for political reasons because it challenged official orthodoxies. I'll give you one example. I was included in a group called the Disinformation Dozen. And Facebook and others were asked to censor us, which they did. And by the way, my Heck Aaron post, it was taken down. My whole Instagram account with 900,000 people was taken down.
What?
Because of that. Oh, they knew, Facebook knew that the Disinformation Dozen claim. And what they said was that Disinformation Dozen came from this very shady group called the Center for Preventing Digital Hate in England that's funded by dark money. That should be looked into.
Digital hate. See, this is the evil that we're dealing with, y'all. All right, we need to get these people off the internet. Let's just make up something. The people who supporting them are evil, but they never bring up George, you know who, supporting all these corrupt prosecutors across our country. They don't bring up George of the Jungle dropping all of that money on these Democrat politicians and judges. They don't bring up him, but now they want to say that organization that he was involved with, dark money and digital information and this and that. And that makes us have the right to be able to pull all of this off the internet. Now, you see, they have too much power and control. They're evil.
They claim that 65% of the vaccine misinformation on the internet was generated by those 12 people. Facebook itself said that is impossible. That is false information.
But nobody
know that not to be true. And yet, when the White House asked them to censor this Disinformation Dozen, including me, they did it anyway when they knew it to be untrue.
I have to bring this.
Wow. I mean, so now we got malinformation, we got disinformation, we got misinformation, and then we had the black witch right there up there talking about, that ain't true. You shut your mouth, lady. You stop censoring the witness. That's what you need to do. You done already assassinated his character and called him anti-Semitic and all of that stuff, and then had the nerve to say, you're supported by evil people giving you money. And now she's about to get called out for her hypocrisy, y'all.
Up and since the door was opened, I'm deeply concerned about the fact that there were FEC reports brought up. Mr. Kennedy, you acknowledge that you don't know where those came from.
Right.
You said that you have no affiliation with those.
Where are you going with this?
That PAC, that super PAC, I believe. The ranking member said she was deeply concerned about the affiliation, and we seem to have a.
You hear that? See how the Democrats, who are always snudging up to evil, corrupt folks, some of them with some real, let's just say, obscure practices. How about that evil young dude with that poodle on top of his head that deceived everybody, but yet was donating to all of these Democrats in their campaign, only to rob everybody of billions of dollars. All of them was smuggling up to him. He's great knucklehead, all of that. But then they want to talk about, did you get money from blank, 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 and blank? So now this lady is about to ask her about where her money comes from. Woo-wee, y'all ready for this uppercut?
Guilty by association theme going on here. And so I just have to state for the record that I myself am deeply concerned about the affiliation of the convicted sex trafficker, Jeffrey Epstein, of which the ranking member took campaign donation money from. So
what? You telling me the angry black witch, the lion witch over there talking about something? No, he just don't need to be on this platform. You telling me she took money from Epstein? Guilty by association, right? That's what I'm wondering. I'm so glad this woman called that out. I bet you when she brought that up, the ugly witch over there was like, oh, shoot. Yeah, that is bad. What are you going to say, witch? You're going to say, I had no idea Epstein was into all of that stuff. They don't care. They're like, give us the money. We don't care where it comes from. Give us the money.
So I think that's the beauty of the First Amendment, is that we have a right to say what we want to say, but we also have the right to be offended. So I just wanted to point that out, glass houses and all.
Point taken.
Our Democrat colleague, Mr. Lynch, opened up the door of what does the impact of the continued narrative of weaponization have on the general public? And I think that's really important.
Very.
Because what we have seen in the last couple of weeks is irrefutable evidence of the fact that the FBI has not only been systematically working to censor American speech, but they have been facilitating it. And in some cases at the behest of foreign governments.
Wow. I mean, where's Raggedy Ray on this one? He can't deny it? Okay. So all of these Democrats are okay with that. Because you know what else? They're defending is the FBI. Now, isn't that odd? Isn't that odd that these folks defend the FBI like they're just upstanding and nothing they ever did was wrong? You know why? Because they've been using the FBI just like they were using big tech, just like they've been using the fake news. They've been using all of these things as weapons. They've been using the censorship of free speech as a weapon. That's why they're sitting here opposed to it. Trying to lie to us and tell us, no, we're not censoring stuff. We don't believe in that mess. But we can't let Robert F. Kennedy get up here and talk. You know what I'm saying? Now, we don't want people on the internet spreading mal and dis and misinformation, all that stuff that we determine what that is. We can't have that. It might interrupt and stand in the way of our agenda. So now they're getting called out.
A weaponization report proved that there was a direct connection between the Ukrainian SBU, in which that intelligence service was sending spreadsheets of thousands of posts, in some cases posts that were belonging to the United States State Department.
Wow.
And because we know that the Ukrainian SBU is rife with double agents, the FBI wasn't even vetting the posts. They were simply sending them direct to the social media companies saying, please take these down.
Yeah, but they were vetting all of our text and all of our posts and all of our tweets and stuff like that. They were censoring American citizens for a foreign actor while lying to us and saying that the only reason we censor is because we're looking for foreign actors that are dangerous to the... And I'm saying, no. You're censoring us for foreign actors. Unbelievable that they're able to get up there and lie about this and the Democrats are defending it.
So now we have an FBI that is not just saying that they're going to fight foreign interference, they're facilitating it. At one point even suggesting that they put forward a 24/7 channel where the FBI takes requests from a foreign government and filters it right to the social media companies to have those posts taken down. And it was across the board, anti-Ukraine, pro-Ukraine. That right there proves that they weren't vetting the posts.
Because they were too busy looking for grandmas who walked through the Capitol. They ain't got no time to be, deciding whether this is good or bad. A post, as long as it's coming from Ukraine, don't matter. Just let it go through. Only text and only comments that we censor are our own citizens. That's what we do. We got a whole team. Regulated just to do, all right, that's all we're doing today. We're looking on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. Unbelievable.
That's a problem. We've established clearly with hard evidence that there is, in fact, a weaponization of the federal government against the American people, and every single day that we do not acknowledge it is a bad day in America.
Bad day in America. Now, let's hear after this the post-game censorship hearing. Okay, here's some post-game interviews. Somebody said Kev should have millions of followers. Yeah, I agree. And I'm not agreeing just because I'm arrogant or whatever. I agree because I see what they've done. My channel right to the top and then stop. How you gonna go to the top and stop and then go drop? Right to the top, stop, and then drop. That's what they did. Took me to the top, stop, and drop. Once they realized, whoa, who is this guy? What is he talking about? Now I'm RFK. Dang on it. So now here's the post game interviews. Let's see how they feel about this.
You think that Democrats are proving RFK Jr.'s point by trying to stop him from coming today and censor him, that Democrats are unfairly censoring him?
I'm not going to respond to a loaded question like that. You've already decided in your own answer.
What are you afraid that he would say under oath today that you want to stop even the American people from having the opportunity to hear?
I'm not afraid of anything he would say. I just don't want to hear him.
Oh! Man, I tell you, their responses tell it all. They don't have real reasons or support. Like, for example, when they denied the election results of Trump, yeah, they were in there throwing out everything. I'm here to oppose this election because people are terrified. That's it. People are terrified. So here she is. I'm not afraid of anything. I just don't want to hear it. So don't listen. That's how freedom of speech works. That's why there's never really a real reason, with the exception of very few incidents, where you should be censoring somebody, even on YouTube. I don't go into anybody's crib, grab them by the back of the neck, sit them in front of their camera or video or TV or whatever and say, watch Kevin's Corner. If that was the case, then yeah, I can see you censoring somebody. But people find me, okay? People want to watch my channel. So how about you allow natural selection to work it all out? May the fittest survive. How about you let the cream rise to the top? But they don't want to do that. So what they end up doing is saying, you know what we're going to do? We're going to suppress this. We're going to limit the reach, all of this stuff, and then lie to him and say, nah, we ain't doing all of that stuff. It kills me, man. That's one of the things that bother me. When I'm surfing the internet, if I run across something stupid, guess what I do? I click off of it. I don't sit back, send hate stuff. This should be removed, hurts my feelings, and it's endangering me. And these words feel like violence to me. I don't do that. I say, this is stupid. Click. That's what I do. That's why people on the right do not need to censor. We know that as an adult, you can choose what you want to watch or not. There's no real reason. Only reports you two should be getting is these people are on here promoting violence or something like that. But other than that, real violence, not theirs. But other than that, what are y'all doing?
Say to people who are concerned that you were trying to censor RFK Jr. by trying to not let him come today.
Oh, that's not censorship. Censorship would not being allowing someone to speak.
That's exactly what y'all were trying to do. This is crazy. Oh, that's not censorship. If this woman had her way, there's no way that RFK would have been able to come and speak. That's not censorship, even though we did everything we could to stop him from coming to speak.
Can speak. That doesn't give him necessarily the ability to have to do it in the halls of Congress.
Yeah, just on our platform. Because see, remember, Congress is supposed to be representing the First and Second Amendment. They're supposed to be representing freedom of speech. They're supposed to be representing the Constitution. And yet, you can't come up here and utilize your constitutional rights here in Congress. That makes sense, right? The place where all of our values are supposed to just exist is the place you're saying you can't bring freedom of speech up in this joint. Okay.
Trying to censor him today proved his point that he is being
censor him. We were trying to make sure that he didn't cause more harm.
Oh, cause more harm. What harm did he cause? See, that's one of them lazy things that they throw out there. Cause more harm. Who got harmed by it? See, that's that malinformation just to cover all kind of areas that they can't legitimately censor you in. It's malinformation. It's malicious. It could hurt people. Who was hurt by it? Oh, you're asking me to show proof of that? Wow, I didn't expect that. Everybody. Like who? Did you get an influx of calls coming in? Like, I was just watching RFK on the internet and he was talking about the vaccination and that. I didn't get it. Nothing. None of that happened. But yeah, here she is just throwing that out there. Cause more harm. One of the most used blanketed statements that they throw out there that eliminates them having to prove what they're saying or justify it. Just cause more harm.
With his outrageous testimony.
don't think you want to bring bigots before the Congress, but apparently that's par for the course with this majority.
I can't even believe this guy. I can't even believe this guy right there is still in Congress. That man just said, I can't even believe they would bring bigots for to here to Congress. Apparently, that's par for the course and whatever. Now, here's bug-eyed. Here's pencil neck. Watermelon-shaped face shift was also linked to the whole Twitter files. He was up there. He got in on it. Oh, yeah, man, pull that mess down for me. Who? No, this is watermelon-shaped face. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you gonna get that for me? All right, thanks. Hey, that's what that guy was doing. So, of course, he didn't want to hear it. He's a part of the censorship, too. He's a part of the manipulation, the demonization, false accusations, stupid investigations, all to stop people from electing who they want to elect, saying what they want to say. That guy was a part of that.
Wow. The irony and cognitive dissonance from the other side of the aisle
is fascinating.
It's deafening. You could cut it with a knife.
Yes, you could.
They are at the same time denying that censorship is occurring.
Wow.
But suggesting that there's more material that needs to be censored.
Oh.
This is a hearing on censorship that began with an effort, with a formal motion from the other side of the aisle to censor Mr. Kennedy.
Because Democrats are dumb. They're proving our point. They don't. I'm wondering if they even see the hypocrisy and all of this thing. All right, well, this is dangerous speech. He shouldn't be able to speak here. You know what? He's anti-Semitic. He's this and this and that. But we're not here to fight against freedom of speech. Just his. And anybody who thinks like him. Anybody who opposes us. That's the only speech we hate. Unbelievable. They don't even see themselves in it.
They do not want him to speak. Yet that is the topic of this hearing. They have kept him from speaking. A collusion between the government and private organizations.
Your investigation, and I yield back.
Uh-oh.
I'm so grateful for that segue from it.
Well, here's the close, y'all. Y'all ready for this knockout right here?
Mr. Golden, because we're about to talk about hard evidence here.
Please do.
It's really ironic this hearing is covering the left's censorship of opposing viewpoints, and you've all seen it on display all day long. They've been doing exactly that. They've been trying to bully and defame our witnesses and trying to cover up their opinions.
Oh.
They actually began the hearing with a motion to prevent them from testifying. You can't make this stuff up. It's on broad display for everybody. They did the same thing yesterday in the hearing with the IRS whistleblowers. You know why?
Sure did.
Because the Democrats are panicked right now. They're panicked because it's impossible to cover up the inescapable conclusions of the last few weeks. Let me give you two.
And that's why they have to censor. There it is. It is impossible for them to cover up the thousands and thousands of people that come across our border, and the video footage that shows all of that stuff. Yeah, so therefore, if you disagree with that, guess what you are? You're xenophobic. And what you are is you're talking about the placement theory and all that stuff. It's impossible for them to make sense why kids should be able to transition before they turn 18. So, in other words, the way we're going to censor you is to simply call you transphobic and trying to unexist the whole trans community. See, it's impossible for us to make sense of these things. That's why they have to do it, because it doesn't make sense. All right, so it's impossible for us to tell you why we are supporting Ukraine and sending all that money and resources over there. So if you don't support our cause over there, then you know what you are. You're unpatriotic, and they say your speech is dangerous to democracy. See, that's why they do it.
Two of them. First, one, the hard evidence, Mr. Goldman and everybody else, now proves that the Biden family is hopelessly corrupt and has apparently engaged in a long pattern of extortion, bribery, influence peddling, and tax fraud and staggering abuses of power. And number two,
and how?
We're highlighting here today that we now know that a growing list of the most important executive branch agencies of the Biden administration are in on it. They've also been corrupted. They've been weaponized to help cover all this up, the first family's crimes. When we summarize all this stuff, it sounds like a premise of a dystopian novel or something, but it's actually happening right now on our watch.
Yeah, and we're living it. It's like we're all watching a movie. I mean, a serious drama like, wow, this is crazy what's going on here. I mean, surely that would never happen in real life, would it? Right? Not in America, especially. So this is fictional? Because that's how I feel. It seems like I'm watching a parody of America, where I'm saying, wow, thank God that was just a movie, because, man, what I just watched scares me. It's not representing the America I know and love, but yet we're in the movie. We're watching it and experiencing it at the same time.
This is not conspiracy theories. This is evidence. Our hearing today is to put a spotlight on one more of these incredible avenues of unprecedented corruption and government cover-up. And here again, a federal court has just affirmed all that hard evidence. It proves that the White House, the Department of Justice, and the FBI, among other agencies, threatened and coerced the social media platforms to censor and suppress disfavored viewpoints and conservatives' social media posts online. I'm grateful we have with us today two individuals, Mr. Kennedy and Ms. Harris, who are directly impacted by that censorship, and the third, Mr. Sauer, who we're about to speak with, serving as lead counsel in the landmark lawsuit against the federal government on this issue. Let's talk facts. The American people are not aware of the magnitude of this case, Mr. Sauer, and its profound implications because most of the mainstream media is in on it too, and they're trying to bury the story.
Oh, there it is. There it is. They're burying the story. Just like they're trying to bury all of this damning information that just came out about Creepy and the Crackhead. Zero time spent on that. One of the biggest stories ever. Zero. And yet they didn't mention it. They don't want to talk about that ruling of censorship because guess what? They're part of it. They're down with all of these people. And this dude right here is going to point it out as we close.
In brief, in May of last year, the attorneys general of my state, Louisiana, and the state of Missouri filed suit in U.S. District Court of the Western District of Louisiana. This blatant censorship. They went after the blatant censorship by the Biden White House in 9 of its federal agencies. 2 weeks ago on Independence Day, the district court issued a truly extraordinary 155-page court opinion, a ruling granting the plaintiff's request for preliminary injunction. Mr. Sauer, your lead counsel in that litigation. You referenced some in your opening statement, but let's do it again here because they don't seem to be paying attention.
Yeah, see, the Democrats, you got to drill it into their head. It's like they don't even know what the whole hearing is about. What is this hearing about again? Censorship? Okay, so let's go in and try to go ahead and censor our RFK, okay? Everybody's okay with that? All right, wait a minute. Oh, so it would look kind of contradictory if we go in and say we're not censoring and we actually are. Well, you know what? The people won't catch it. The people won't catch it. Let's go ahead and do it anyway. Only dummies wouldn't catch that. Only complete willful idiots would watch that hearing and see what the Democrats are doing. And see any Democrat voter who likes RFK, that should be your telltale sign that these people are evil. One of their own beloved. This ain't no Republican they tried to censor. This was one of their beloved from the beloved Kennedys. So if they're willing to do that to him, what do you think they would be willing to do to Trump? Unbelievable. How is it now that RFK is getting all kind of labels and accusations thrown out there that they also threw on Trump? Are you able to make the connection? Are you able to make the connection? When they want to discredit you, stop you, silence you, they use the same strategy across the board. You're going to become a racist, xenophobe, homophobe, all the phobes. You're dangerous, your speech and all of that stuff. They're using the same format, Democrat or Republican.
A summary again of some of the key components of that opinion and the basis for it. I know you mentioned there were 82 pages of detailed factual findings, right?
Just give us a little bit.
That is correct. 82 pages, 577 citations of the record evidence. That evidence is drawn from about 20,000 pages of the government's own communications with social media platforms and 6 full-length depositions of senior federal officials with firsthand knowledge of federal censorship practices.
It's absolutely staggering. And now they've tried to bury this and say, well, the Fifth Circuit entered a temporary administrative stay. They granted an expedited briefing and oral argument, however, for August 10th.
Yeah,
what's the impact of that? Isn't that routine practice in the Fifth Circuit?
That's a direct quote from the recent Fifth Circuit decision, N. Ray Abbott, which is cited in my written testimony. It's legally incorrect. Clearly legally incorrect to describe them as vacating the injunction, which has happened multiple times.
They either don't know the law or, I don't know, they're trying to obscure the facts. That's a theme around here. The White House and the fellow Democrats disputed almost none of the factual findings in the court. Isn't that right?
So far, we've had 2 emergency stay motions from the Department of Justice, one in the District Court, one in the Court of Appeals. And what really struck me in reading those is they just don't dispute those 82 pages of factual findings.
Oh, my goodness. So they're pulling a Joe Biden? Hey, look, didn't do nothing. You're not going to dispute the facts. Just say, didn't do it. There you go. We can't actually dispute that stuff. We're just going to say, you know what? How about you just give us a stay or a motion or can we go ahead and... They don't want to stop censoring. That's the problem. But they're not able to deny the fact that they've been censoring. So you don't address the accusations. You just jump right over that and go to, can we prolong this? Now I want you to implement these things because an election's coming up and it might prohibit us for rigging stuff.
None of them are directly disputed in what they've filed so far.
So at the very beginning of this lengthy opinion, the court explains the staggering scope of the government censorship uncovered here. At page 2, the court explains, quote, if the allegations made by the plaintiffs are true, the present case arguably involves the most massive attack on free speech in United States history. The court called it dystopian, Orwellian. How broad has this attack been? How many Americans have been censored?
Here we go.
Judicial findings, again and again, in the opinion of millions of American voices silenced by these efforts.
Holy moly. But Trump has no reason to question the election results. None whatsoever. After all the crap we're hearing. Now they're going to try to prove that Trump legitimately knew he lost. No reasonable person would ever think that he lost. After all of this came out. Censorship, manipulation, FBI involved in it. All of that. But we have no reason to question the election results, right?
Had profound impacts. We know, we just saw the poll and the data that's been entered here, facts, not conjecture, that it probably changed the outcome of the election. The court noted that they suppressed, among other topics, the Hunter Biden laptop story. And the court noted, not you, not me, not Republicans, that millions of Americans were not exposed to that story. Had they been, we know they might have voted differently. We'll never be able to unwind history, but wow, I mean, the profound impacts. What are some of the other
profound impacts? Now, if I'm Trump's legal team, I'm going in with this as well. Because they're going to have to try to prove that Trump willfully knew he lost and had no other reasons to question whether he lost. However, that survey or that study right there to show that millions of people probably would have changed their mind, I think that's legitimate reason to question the results of the election. I think that's a legitimate reason to think, hey, that sounds like election interference by our own government. I think that's a legitimate reason.
other categories of speech that the government suppressed with its unconstitutional scheme?
Yeah,
well, the court made findings on that. I just quote them: opposition to COVID-19 vaccines.
I was in that.
Opposition to COVID-19 masking and lockdowns.
I was in that category.
The lab leak theory of COVID-19.
I was in that category.
Opposition to President Biden's policies.
I was in that
Statements
category.
Of the Hunter Biden laptop story.
I was in that
true.
category.
Opposition to the policies of government officials.
I was in that
power.
category.
All were suppressed, and that just.
Wait a minute. Then that means I was suppressed. Every single thing that dude just mentioned, I also fall into that suppression because I question all of that mess. So I was oppressed. I was suppressed, oppressed, all of that mess. I want reparations. Something. Give me something. I'm black and I'm oppressed and suppressed. So there you have it, y'all. Y'all see all of that suppression and oppression. But hey, the Democrats is cool with that.
Some examples, many other examples in the court's findings and in the discovery in the case.
I so wish I weren't out of time. I yield back.
I do too.
This is the final battle with you.
Y'all hear that? The final battle.
You at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and.
Yes! Eliminate these bums. Thank you, Trump. That's why they're afraid of him. That's why they don't want that man getting back into office. That's why they're trying to interfere with this upcoming election. That's why they're trying to silence and gag Trump and gag all of us. That's why we're being labeled as extremists and dangerous and ultra MAGA folks and stuff. That's why. Because they know that we're a threat to their power, control, and agenda. As we saw it all on display today. Boy, I tell you. Those Democrats cannot hide all of that evil, all of that hypocrisy. It leaks out. I mean, it's just crazy how they just can't suppress it, man. They be like, boy, it's tough being this evil. I mean, we could only get away with the evilness and try to cover it up so much. But just their reactions let you know that these folks are horrible. They're evil. They're supporting the wrong things. They are all over the place when it comes down to why are you supporting that? Or why are you opposed to that? Every American should be going, I don't see what the problem is. But for some reason, y'all have a problem with it. Says a lot. So God bless y'all. God bless America. Look at that, y'all. We had 259 people watching. And guess how many likes we got? 258. We're one like away from being perfect. Or no, wait, whoa. We just went up. We went up. Now we're at 264. All shooting, climbing. Go. Yeah, man, take that mess up if you can before we bounce. Now, check out all of my videos that maybe you didn't see. If you haven't watched some of my videos on my channel, please go back, check them out. Don't forget, send that text message, join that text, that text chain or whatever that thing is or whatever. But so you can get messages from me. And thanks for supporting the channel. All of you that gave in the super chat, those that gave to my Cash App and my PayPal, I appreciate that so much. Sharing my videos, liking my videos, everything that you do helps support what I'm doing. And it helps, you know, at least puts kind of the pressure on YouTube to where it'd be hard for them to just justify some of the crap that they're doing. Make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure your notifications are turned on to all. And besides that, I want y'all to have a great, awesome weekend. People are saying, great job. Yes, agreed. 100%. Thank y'all so much, man. Y'all make me feel all right. You know that? Y'all make me feel all right tonight. All right, let's bounce, y'all. Let's get out of here. Crack my knuckles, man. Oh. Tear up the place, yeah. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.